And gentlemen, I would like to call this Johnson County Council meeting to order on this Monday, March the 9th, 2026 at 6:01 p.m. Please pray with us if you care to, and then we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, I always forget roll call. Roll call, please.
Michelle Ann Graves,
Here.
Jonathan Myers,
Here.
John Mallers,
Here.
Pamela Burton,
Present.
John Dittmers,
Here.
Ron Bates,
Present.
Melinda Griesmer is absent.
Thank you. Please pray with us if you care to, and then we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Pam, would you like to lead us?
Yes.
Thank you, dear.
Father, we thank you for this time together. We thank you for the ability to come before the taxpayers of Johnson County and serve in the best manner that we all possibly can. We ask that our words be knowledgeable, kind, understanding, and fruitful. And we ask all this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First up on our meeting is approval of tonight's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
We have a change.
Do we have changes, Amy?
Yes.
Just two. So the first change, I believe, is
C9.
C9 has been pulled. I've lost a page of my notes. And what was the item number that we had a change in the
C7D should be 1123.1145.0000.0220 supplement assistant director.
so is a change to the fund number and the entire line item and the name to supplement assistant director,
Yeah, just the account number.
the account number. With those two modifications, I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
As I've said, I'll make that.
Ron Bates, I have a motion by Ron Bates, second by John Dittmers. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. This is the time in our meeting where we open up the floor to public comments. These, the topics must be agenda items only, and we do ask that you limit your comment to 5 minutes per person. Seeing no one approaching the podium, we will close public comments. Routine matters, item B, consent agenda. By a single motion, the board approves the following items, which may include salary ordinance amendments, additional appropriations, reductions, and transfers. Any items listed on the consent agenda may be removed by a council member and moved to the regular agenda.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Jonathan T. Myers,
Second.
second by John Mallers. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Do we have to do roll call?
No, because they're not voting online. But thank you. Next up on our agenda is C, salary ordinance amendments, additional appropriations, reductions, and transfers. First, C1, pretrial diversion program, our prosecutor's office.
Good afternoon, Michelle Murray, Office Administrator, Prosecutor's Office.
Thank you.
A is we are just closing this grant out. So we would need to make this adjustment for that particular grant.
If I did have a question for you, Michelle. Is this, the result of overspending the grant?
I don't believe it was overspending. Thank you. Because this was the grant from, I believe, 2022 through 2024.
Oh, so if I look at my notes from Mr. Hamner, it says to correct a negative balance in this fund.
Yes. that's
So we
correct.
did run it in the red. Okay.
Yes, but I'm not sure, that was prior to my time, so I don't know exactly
Okay.
what was,
Okay.
we were just making that adjustment so we can close the grant out for.
And it looks like you're moving, the request is to move money from a fee fund to the grant fund to bring it back up to zero so that you can close it out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do you know, are there precautions in place to prevent grants from running in the red in the future?
We are trying to make those adjustments as we go and catch
Okay.
them as we see them.
All right, the State Board of Accounts and the Auditor's Office thanks you for that.
Yes, and
So that's 1A. Do we want to take 1A and 1B separate? They're two completely different things. So I would like to take a motion on 1A at this time.
Approve.
I have a motion by John
Second.
Dittmers and a second by Ron Bates. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nay. Motion carries. Item C2, would you like to talk to us? It's a request about your part-times.
C1B.
C1Bs, yes.
yes, we would just like to bring up our part-time line item to what our current paralegals are making. We are going to be hiring an actual part-time person that has paralegal experience to work in our office to do some things for our pretrial diversion programs.
So are you?
No, I was just
You go
gonna
first.
ask what what was the maximum you budgeted at budget time? And is this over what you originally said your margins would be?
Yes.
Yes.
So we budgeted 25 during. the
So
budget.
this is actually going to be new money then? An
Yes.
adjustment to the actual budget? Okay.
Yes, actually, right now, we are not asking for additional appropriations within that line item, because that line item is already funded.
Yeah, but the maximum that was approved at budget time to pay that was $25,
Yes,
correct? Okay.
Yes,
If I could help you out with that, Michelle, I did a little bit of research.
okay,
And in 2025, your budgeted amount for part-time in this fund was 36,000.
Mhm.
And you expended 30,347. Your 2026 budget request was the same at 36,000. So do you anticipate that you're going to need more money to pay this additional part-time person?
I hope not, she's only gonna work like 2 days a week. And that's not gonna be every week, I don't believe.
So I-
Hours a day, 16 hours a week.
That would be the max.
And you do have part-time help now. Are they paralegals?
They're paid out of the intern position.
But you're bringing them up, will they all be paid at the same rate?
No.
Okay, thank you. This is something that council really likes to see addressed at budget
I
time.
understand.
Is there any reason this, I mean, it's a small amount of money that you're asking for, 25 to 2650, but any reason why that got overlooked at budget time?
It was one of those where we didn't have this particular position that we were gonna look at having additional help for at the time. We've had some people leave and we're trying to fill this position with a part-time position rather than a full-time position.
So this person's gonna have and this part-time rate is gonna have a person that has more credential.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
And can you tell me why that's a need?
So we wouldn't have to train someone that didn't know or have prior paralegal experience. It's difficult for someone to come in that doesn't have any experience to be able to start from the ground up. Their training would be extensively a lot longer. They wouldn't be able to perform the duties.
So are you
in
seeing,
time.
are you seeing cases that are requiring more, or that has a greater degree of difficulty?
Not necessarily that, it's just the volume of cases that we are seeing that we're needing additional help with.
I do have one request if we could, and I've made this of the highway department as well. They're later on in the agenda. The council would like to see job descriptions for these part-time
Okay.
positions, and it sounds like you maybe have two different levels of part-time. Part-time for interns and then part-time for a paralegal. If you could get those to the county's legal office to Taylor, that would be very helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got a quick, just to make sure I'm clear, you have 36,000, what
Mhm.
you said in this line item, and you, instead of paying the person 25, you're gonna now pay him 26 and a half, is what you're asking, but you're still within that 36,000
Yes.
presumably,
Reasonable.
okay,
yes.
because I don't know that additionals are gonna be looked at all that favorably down the road
Yeah,
at that point, so I just want to make sure that, that it stays within that amount.
Sure.
yeah, stay within your budgeted line item.
I'll do my best I
Okay.
can.
I move to approve 2A, I'm sorry, 1B.
Sorry, there's a lot on tonight's agenda.
You have a second?
I have a motion by John Mallers, a second by Jonathan T. Myers. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Post.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
C2, Luke Maston, Highway Department.
Good evening, Luke Maston, Highway Supervisor. Items 2 and 3 on your agenda are the reappropriation of the savings, the cash savings that we have set aside over a 3-year period towards the Smith Valley Road project. Mike Reuter's suggestion and recommendation last year was that we not encumber those funds, but that we reappropriate them at the beginning of each year. That will in turn allow his financial reports that he provides to the council to be accurate. If you remember last year, they were being reflected twice. So using this method should take care of that.
Yeah, appreciate your detail too.
When this does come to fruition, does the state kick in any for it? Or
There's no state funding that's been provided for Smith Valley Road.
okay,
So the funding,
because it's more of a county road than
yeah,
US highway.
yes. So the bulk of the funding comes from the bond that was adopted last year. But the last portions of the project, when that bond money runs out, will be paid through these 2 line items.
And is that bond issue occurred yet? Okay.
Yes, that happened in October.
Okay, I thought, and just general timeline on when, I know there's a lot of things that have to happen before you actually see construction. Is that happening now and
Yeah, we're
like the right of way and all that stuff?
we are neck deep in development. So
Lovely.
we started seeing some of the appraisals come through. So we're in the right of way acquisition process now. It will be a long process, but we are moving forward.
You see any strange turtles or fish or anything?
We don't look that down the creeks or.
Don't look too deep.
And this is from 135 to the interstate.
Yes, from Mullenix, specifically from the Mullenix roundabout to Reston Road, the entrance to Carefree South. But we are coordinating with NDOT, who's designing a project, an intersection improvement project at Smith Valley in 135 to make sure those two projects tie in together.
Hey, Luke, just to make sure there's no confusion, can you talk about the use of funds? I think the bond funds need to be used first based on what we talked about. And then
Correct.
these come in, so we may have, this may be a carryover into 27, correct?
It likely will be.
Yeah.
Before we started saving this money, before we really got to the point where we had specifics on a bond. So that's why we have this cash that's been saved up. Now that we have a bond council's recommendation, actually, it's a very good one, is that we need to spend the bond money down first. So that means that we'll be carrying this, again, this cash will be needed, but if we have to spend the bond dollars first, this will be spent towards the last part of that project.
Thank you.
Taylor, I think we can take C1 and 2 together, don't you?
C, 2 and 3.
2 and 3. I'm gonna get new glasses. I'm gonna blame it on the time change. I am punchy tonight. Please, I apologize.
It can't be your fault. You gotta blame it on something.
And it can't be my fault, no.
Madam President, I'll make a motion to approve items C, 2, and 3 as presented.
I have a motion by Pamela Burton,
Second.
second by John Mallers. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. C4 Cume Bridge. Let's start with your part-time rate. Let's start with C4 A and B.
Okay, so the part-time budget amount that's here is for the part-time engineer that we discussed towards the end of last year. There is a part-time engineer job description. It was in the February packet if you looked at that, but I made the mistake of not attaching it here. But we do have that if you need to see it. The engineer has started, the commissioners approved bringing them on board. Actually has been great. The bulk of the work that employee is doing is bridge related, bridge and culvert related. So it makes sense to create a part-time line item in the bridge fund, since that is primarily what his focus has been on.
And if I could share, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm getting really good at that tonight. The Cume Bridge Fund we had in the past, it went away, and we've brought it back on board for 2026. So you didn't really have a part-time line item in there to work with, so.
Correct. Yes.
What about that dollar amount of 65,000?
65 was a rough guess of about what halftime for the entire calendar year would be. In reality, I think we're going to be less than that. Michelle, in a conversation, reminded me when we discussed this in October, I mentioned that probably 40,000 a year was the estimate. So I don't have an issue at all, maybe lowering that to what we previously discussed, that $40,000 number. That should be fine to get us through the end of the year. And then as we go through budget cycle, we'll have several more months of this. And we can determine if maybe that needs to be adjusted for next year, if we can stick with that number.
I would appreciate that if we could change that tonight to be $40,000 for item C4A. Since it is what you presented to us when we made the request for the $65 per hour.
Yes.
Luke, what's the status of the hire? Did you say you have somebody on board? or-
Yes, yeah. He's been working, I think, since December. Actually has been brought a lot of knowledge, especially in the drainage side and the bridge and culvert side, that has been a significant help for us.
And that's this position, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So what's
It's
that number? Because you got a hard number now, right?
It's currently being paid out of MVH, and so we'll move that expenditure into Cume Bridge. The number would be essentially for the remainder of the year, the maximum of that $40,000 if we hit that. And we will monitor his hours through the year. Keep in mind, this is a semi-retired or retired employee. So there will be times that you know, he'll want to take vacation or spend time with family. So that's why I'm pretty confident that $40,000 number should be fine for the rest of the year. Yes, yes.
And Amy, I did want to ask, have you been able to get that job description for the part-time engineer to Taylor? Will you make sure that she gets a copy of that, please?
I will.
Thank you.
We had actually provided that to legal and to the commissioners.
Oh, so you already have it?
Yep,
Okay,
we're good. Yep.
good. Well, I would, ready, unless there's further discussion, I'm ready to take a motion on item C4, A and B.
C4, A and B.
Second.
The motion by
With reduced to the 40,000.
reduced to the 40,000.
Correct.
45?
Even.
C4A.
So I have a motion from John Dittmers. And you're okay with the 40,000?
Yeah.
And a second by Ron Bates. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. C4, let's take C through N together.
So I have a question about cash flow,
Okay.
and I know that's out of my realm. We just do appropriations, but I'm worried about cash flow. So you have these timeframes that each one of these things have. Do you know when these are going to be complete?
So we did the resolution earlier in the year to borrow essentially about $1 million from the general fund to help cash flow for rainy day, correct? To cash flow the cumulative bridge fund since it was starting anew. A lot of the expenditures that are here, you know, realistically will not be realized until the middle of the year or the later part of the year. So some of these projects may have another line item in the cumulative capital development fund that's for like an existing contract. These are rough estimates of what we need to get whatever the next phase of each individual project started is. So these dollars, we're not gonna run into an issue of exceeding that $1 million loan that then gets paid back in June. Should be fine.
We're counting on the treasurer's office to get that money in-house and get it ready to go.
All of the projects listed here were in the February memo, except for the last two. Those were added for the March meeting. In that time frame, we've learned that we were awarded federal funding towards the Bridge 36 and Bridge 63 projects that we applied for. So I added those in there. I don't know exactly what the consulting contracts would be. So I just used a round number for right now so that we can get those projects started.
Luke, I have in my notes, we budgeted $3 million for 2026. Does that sound right?
Correct. Yes.
Sometimes I'm not sure what my notes are about. It's been so long.
We budgeted at budget time for 3 million.
Okay.
And then had the conversation about, since this is the first year, increasing that rate for 2026. So the bulk of these appropriations, actually all of these appropriations, are the difference between the 3 million that we budgeted at budget time and the additional amount that we added for the first year. The bridge construction and reconstruction line item, if things go as planned and we're not surprised by projects, that money essentially becomes our savings for the future phases, especially as these get towards construction. So we got to start building that cash up. So it's reflected here to where we can use it if an emergency project comes up. but ideally it is saved and gives us that cash balance for future phases.
So did I understand you correctly? These items that you have listed here under Cume Bridge are are expenses in addition to the $3 million?
Yes. Well, there's more than $3 million coming into the bridge fund for this year. Yes,
Okay, our part was just 3 million.
yes.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, the additional was discussed and happened later in the year after the budget cycle.
I will, if there's no further questions for Luke, I would entertain a motion on C4, C through N.
Motion to approve C4, C through N.
A motion by Jonathan T. Myers,
I'll second.
second by John Mallers. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. But you're not done yet, are you?
You can't get rid of me that easy. Item 5 is an additional appropriation in our MVH line item, specifically for our miscellaneous equipment line. The amount that is shown here is the amount that was remaining in that line item at the end of last year. So we're not pulling any money out of savings. This is money that was already budgeted for that purpose. We're just reappropriating it for this year.
Just bookkeeping.
Yep.
Move to approve.
The motion by John
I'll
Dittmers,
second it.
second by Pamela Burton. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Last item is item number 6. This would create a new reimbursement fund in the 9,000 series for our Bridge 85 contract. This project has MPO federal exchange dollars that have been provided by the Indianapolis MPO in this dollar amount that's shown. So because that is money that is a grant, we have to create a new grant line item for it so that we can deposit those funds once we receive them. The bid for that project is actually the next commissioners meeting. So we should see that project moving forward pretty quickly.
Just dollar for dollar.
It was 80% of what we applied for. It looks like our cost estimate for the bridge portion of that project is actually lower than we were thinking. We'll just have to see how the bids come out. Yeah. But if the project pricing, final pricing comes in lower, then we will probably have to give some of that money back because that can only reimburse up to 80% of actual expenditures, not estimated.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, this is a federal grant and you need this line item for a place to park the money once we receive it from the federal government.
Yes,
Okay.
then I'm going to add one wrinkle, which is it's federal exchange dollars.
Okay.
So the MPO has an agreement with NDOT where we swap state money for federal money. That simplifies projects and project development for locals. So federal funds exchange, or the FFE, that's what that means. And that's why
FFE.
this is in the 9,000 series instead of the 8,000
8.
series. It's state money.
FFE, that was the key acronym there. I missed that.
Well,
And I'm
I-
so glad you're
I-
tracking that.
All right. Any additional questions for Lou? I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item under C, item 6 as presented.
I have a motion by Pamela Burton,
Second.
second by John Dittmers. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
C7, Community Corrections CTP Court Services.
Hi, Steve Kermode, Assistant Director, Community Corrections. 7 is something that we kind of have to do every other year, it seems like. We have basically 2 different funds that we're going back and forth between for these supplements. And when the cash flow gets low on one, we transfer to the other. So I think we did this at either the end of 24, the beginning of 25 last time. So we're cash flow is low in 2502, and they're both fee funds. And now we're requesting that this be moved over to the CTP fund, which is another fee fund as well.
I will just add that I reviewed the funds. I am a representative for that department. And basically, just to recap what Steve said, the two funds are both fee funds with money coming in. And because the fees cannot be controlled, sometimes one fund will run lower than the other. So they have to constantly,
Move
or
it.
not constantly, but every couple of years, switch back and forth in order to have enough to cover what they need based on the fees in each fund. So this is not uncommon at all, and I don't see anything unusual in the request, just FYI.
Any further questions for Steve? I will entertain a motion for C item 7.
I'll make a motion to approve C item 7, retro to 2/5 of 26.
Second.
I have a motion by Pam Burton, a second by Ron Bates. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I have 8 as well. And this is a grant adjustment to pay back grant that was overspent. In July of 25, we had come before council and requested this position ended. It was a federal grant and it ended in September. So we were going to move everything over to the 2001 fund, which is another fee-based fund. There was some administrative errors on our end that didn't take place where we had a change form that was sent over. We've consolidated that now, and all that's going to be running through me. So we've kind of taken some steps to make sure that this doesn't happen again, but we have to repay that grant back from a fee account that was already approved. It just didn't take place the way it should have.
So just to clarify, we have another grant fund in the red.
Yes,
Steve, question, what is your title?
Assistant Director,
Assistant Director of
Community Corrections.
Community Corrections. But this is adult probation.
This is a probation fund that would help pay that as well.
So
So
I
this is-
guess my question is, are you wearing two hats? Because, you know, we've grilled you, you've been up here several times with lots of bookkeeping errors and just trying to dig into another layer, why we keep having these issues.
Yeah, this is kind of part of that issue from the end of, or the middle of last year, that we just didn't catch until, I guess, the end of the year. So it's all kind of from the same time frame,
This money's coming from where to pay back that grant?
fee account from probation admin fees.
Okay, so it's not new money from the general fund.
It is not.
Right.
But you're doing services for both community corrections and adult probation?
Correct.
Do
Under
you
the-
think that's contributing to some of this accounting errors we keep
I don't believe so.
coming across?
I think we had multiple people doing multiple things, and now it's gonna be funneling through me more.
Steve, is it safe to say this is a carryover of the restructure that happened and kind of getting your arms around everything from a control point perspective?
Definitely, and this is just the kind of the last one that fell through the cracks there.
You're confident or those control points are in place, so
Correct.
we just gotta fix this, right?
Yep.
Gotcha. And it's covered. You got
Correct.
covered by fee-based account. I'm
Have a motion by John Dittmers,
I'll second.
second by Pam Burton. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
C9 has been removed from the agenda. C10, lit correctional/rehab facilities.
Good evening, council. Andy Barnhart, Chief Deputy of the Sheriff's Office. If I could, for a quick moment, I'd like to update you on the most recent merit deputy hiring process. If that's okay, even though that's not on this agenda item. Is that all right?
Keep it brief, yeah.
I will.
please.
I'll keep it brief.
It's a big agenda
I
tonight.
just wanted to let you know that we did successfully complete the most recent hiring process for merit deputies. And we had an outstanding number of applicants, and that it's actually looking like it used to back in the old days. And I think that that is a testament to the work that the council's done over the last few years, getting salaries caught up to where they need to be, keeping the foot on the gas pedal. We appreciate that. So I just wanted to update you on that. That has been part of the success of getting an outstanding number of applicants. And we ended it with a list of 15 that will stay on the eligibility list, which is triple, almost quadruple what we had last time. So that's really good news.
That's good news.
Wanted to let
Thank
you
you.
know that.
I think
Yeah.
that's very good news.
Thanks for sharing.
And then moving on to the agenda item, it looks complex, but it's actually a fairly simple situation. And that is that we have one individual that works in the jail who is currently on military duty and has been, they keep getting extended. We have another that's getting ready to ship out during the National Guard or Reserves and getting ready to ship out for that duty. So that's 2 people. And then we have 2 people from another shift that might also be joining the military. And so we're getting to the point where with shift-based work, obviously, where we start to have coverage issues. And so the county is good enough to grant 15 military days a year that are paid, but obviously that doesn't cover an extended deployment. So what we were looking at doing is just creating 4, it's kind of worded weird, 4 permanent temporary positions, if that makes sense, and only funding them with $1. And what that does is then once those individuals go on military service and they're past that 15 days, then we would not have to ask for an additional appropriation. We would just move the money from that person's
Line
account
item.
into this temporary one to pay someone to work during that time. And just a little caveat with that is we would tell these people when we hire them that these are not guaranteed permanent positions, because when the person comes back from military service, they have to be given their position back. So we would tell them that these are not guaranteed. However, with the turnover that happens in the jail, there is a good likelihood that in that interim time that someone may leave and they can move into that permanent position. So these are temporary positions, will require no additional funding. We will just be moving. This gives us the ability to move money back and forth without coming to council.
Right.
So that we don't have to encumber that shift even longer by going through that process of getting approved each time, but costs no additional money.
So if I may, I just want to repeat back to you
Yes.
that I'm hearing you say these 4 line items are placeholders only,
Correct.
and you will not be back to council to say, well, we intended it to be this, but now it's not working out with that one. We need this money for this. This is not going to be something that'll be funded midstream by the general fund.
That's right. Yes. And that's why we intentionally name them temporary, so that it's not doesn't just say correctional officer. So there's no ambiguity there, that we know that these are temporary positions for now and for any time in the future where people do that. And then we can just move the money to and from the line item of the person that's in military
Thank you.
service.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I can share too that I did talk with Sheriff Burgess about this, and we are required to hold those positions for the county employees who are away on active duty, so that then when they return safely from active duty, their jobs are still here intact. So that's why you see it presented this way.
Right.
I'm good with it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
With that, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve C10 A through E.
I have a motion by John Mallers. Second by Ron Bates. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, council.
Thank you. We're not doing too bad on time, given the amount we've had to go through tonight. Item D, other business. Approval of resolution 2026-02. This is a resolution to transfer funds $39,566 from the County Identification Security Protection Fund, number 1160, to the County Recorder's Perpetuation Fund, number 1189. We did get communication from our recorder today that she would not be in attendance tonight. What I know about this request is the recorder had excess funds in the Security Protection Fund, and she can better use that money in her perpetuation fund. State statute does allow for this money to be transferred from one fund to the other. How'd I do, Taylor? Score 1. So if you have any further questions, I would refer you to Taylor Webster.
And if I can intervene, it is all governed by statute, so she's not
Yes.
asking or doing anything outside what's statutorily allowed, correct? I'll make a motion to approve item D1 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Pam Burton, a second by Ron Bates. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item D2. Approval of resolution 2026-03. Taylor, do I need to read all this? I will if we need it for the record. Just in summary, it's a resolution of the county council approving a lease by and between the Nineveh Fire Protection District for the purpose of funding the construction of a new fire station.
Hello, all. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Just wanted to give
Take your
you,
name and
yes, Jeff Peters from Peters Franklin.
thank you, Jeff.
And we're going to serve as the municipal advisor on the bonds for this fire station. Have with me bond counsel and a member from the Fire Protection District Board as well, for your convenience. We talked a little bit about this, I believe it was last August. And at that point in time, the kind of thumbnail is this project started back in 2020. The fire district wanted to replace their firehouse. It is from 1955. It will not house a modern fire truck. It is well beyond its useful life. They have been working toward getting that replaced. They, in earnest in 2025, brought the project back up, began to go through the process. There was a lot of debate from taxpayers since last summer and fall. They have been through revising the project down. They now, at this point in time, have the total project costs down to $4,070,000. The financing for this would be 20 years of property tax. The bonds will be outstanding for 20 years. The property tax repayments will begin in pay 28 and be done by pay 47 to make the last payment in January of 48. And the reason for the delay in that is the amount of these bonds versus the tax base that's down there requires this to be a lease rental with a building corporation, like the schools do. Also, like you did last year with your redevelopment authority bonds. The redevelopment authority is basically the building corp for the redevelopment commission. So this allows them to fund that project, and it'll be, again, put on the tax rolls. The impact is estimated at about 9.2 cents if we look at today's assessed value, which is what we think the tax levy will need to be for repayment. For a $250,000 homestead, that's about $116 a year. And with that, we'd be happy to field any questions.
Is this the project that started out at a $12 million plus number?
Is a little north of $12 million, and that was based on what they thought it should be built for current and future needs. It also included a fire truck. The fire truck has been removed from this as well. and the project scaled back to what the fire district and the taxpayers believe will serve their needs.
Let me see if I understand this, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. So this fire district, they have their own fire district, correct?
Correct.
And so maybe apparently through state statutes or something, they need to get approval from the county council and whatever county they're in for this to happen.
Correct. Just like they have to come to you for binding review because none of them are elected, you serve or sit as their fiscal body as well for approval of this.
Thank you.
So has there been any discussion with the DLGF? I mean, I know it's early, but
Not at this point. And again, they don't approve these debts anymore. They will just, once you approve it and the bonds are issued, when we get to pay 28, it'll come back before you, be built into their budget. It'll be advertised to the taxpayers. And then it'll have to go on the tax rolls in order for the repayments to be made and bondholders to be secured.
so I want to ask a question that's kind of, it goes to the crux to this. Their AV down there is low, right? Is that the main reason why?
That's the main
position we're
reason why the tax rate is north of 9 cents. Yeah, the 26 NAV down there is 347.8 million. So it's not a big area, you know, it's basically Nineveh Township and Princess Lakes.
So the new township, did they contribute any to the fire district? So you've got Nineveh and Hensley, no, not Nineveh and is it?
No, they maintain their civil levy to
Okay.
provide their civil,
They don't have anything to
operations.
do with the fire district?
not fire.
I-
Fire has its own maximum levy. It receives its own income tax distribution. It's its own unit of government specific for fire protection for that geography.
Yeah. Well, I get it, you know, and I understand the pain you guys are going through down there, but people down there should have the same emergency service that all the others do,
Absolutely.
regardless of the AV. So I'd like to hear from the fire department a little bit about what this is going to do.
My name's Kevin Hendrickson, and I've been the president with the fire district for quite a few years now. I can't speak for the fire department as a firefighter, but I can speak from my perspective. I am a retired firefighter. I think that number one, this is going to improve a lot of things. That being said, just the building in itself, like Jeff just spoke of, it's hard for us to buy equipment that we have to spec it for a building that it just won't house what's out there today. When it freezes, our building freezes. We use the toilets freeze up. There's water in the bay. There's mold. There's a ton of issues. So, as far as the standpoints for that, this will greatly improve that. With the evacuation systems that are out there today to keep carcinogens and these things off our firefighters that are already fighting fire, this new facility will house that too. So we'll have a double breezeway. It won't be basically one big open concept of a building. So that'll improve their health as well. As far as equipment goes, that's another hurdle that we're going to have to jump through now with a fire truck, which is also desperately needed. We're borrowing one right now, and we'll work through that, and we'll be diligent about that with funding.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will say, I probably know the least amount, have the least knowledge in this county about fire districts and fire. I get the gist of it, but I will say myself and a couple other council members went down there and spent an afternoon. And I want to be politically correct, but if I had a child that was a firefighter, I would not want them to spend any time in that building at all.
Right.
Agreed 100%.
It's in my opinion, it's as bad as it can get and still house anyone. I don't know how it hasn't been condemned.
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
I really don't know how it
It's
has.
been a long road. I mean, it's been a long,
Hasn't
true road.
been-
We'll get-
So
Appreciate it.
I know that doesn't get you any extra money or I know that doesn't
You wouldn't
solve
think
the
so.
problems. But I can personally vouch for the condition and just the living and I mean, just the standard conditions of that area down there, and I commend all of them for making it work.
We got some good firefighters, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was-
And a
Oh,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead.
John, to your point, I couldn't agree more, but the problem is it's a catch-22. Something, to Pam's point, has to be done, and there's nothing we can do about the demographic or the, yeah, or the slip. Geographic area, right?
Yeah.
So that's the comment. The question is, I know you've been kind of through a lot with the public down there with the taxpaying.
Yes, sir.
Public. I think that's a fair statement, right?
Yes,
Um,
say the least.
yeah. It's to a level now where the constituents down there are pretty much in agreement with this number. Is that
Yes, sir.
what I understand?
Yes, sir. I believe we're all pretty happy with where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was what I wanted to validate with you to make sure that I'm sure that people aren't happy with it, but they see the need and understand something needs to be done.
Sure. Anytime it's public service, nobody wants to pay taxes. I mean,
And
that's just.
even though this body serves as a governing body for this, correct me if I'm wrong here, but technically, we have absolutely positively no input whatsoever over what happens, correct? Back behind you,
I
whoever,
think you're talking to.
But I mean- correct?
Max?
Yeah,
Good evening, Max Adams with the law firm of Barnes and Thornburg, serving as bond counsel to the Fire Protection District. The county council's role outside of, the annual appropriations and budgeting serves you have to approve the lease / bond issuance and obviously additional appropriation, which is the next agenda item. But outside of that, yes, everything's been is controlled by the district board and driven by that process.
and I'm just pointing that out to save the emails and the people expecting us to either stop something or push something forward. Because that's not within our purview to do that.
Agreed.
So what is it that we are approving? I can't read between the lines here. What is it that we are approving?
Simply just signing off on the bond issuance itself, because as Jeff mentioned earlier, because this body signs off on the annual appropriations, and because all of the board members are appointed by the county, state law says that, and any bonds payable for property taxes need to be approved by this body as well.
So if I can help out and correct me if I'm wrong, in layman's terms, I think that means we're approving them to enter into the debt.
Right.
John, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, this is not my district and I'm only one vote, but they have worked extremely hard throughout the years, a couple of years, really, several years, it sounds like, to get this down to a level that's workable. I'm gonna vote for the bond issuance and the additional appropriation, which is next. I think that they have shown being conscientious to try to get this to work. It sounds like the public has bought into this. And like John said, everyone deserves the same level or as close to the same level of public service and public safety as anyone else. So I'm voting for it.
Will this reduce the individual insurance cost?
So the bond ratings that come out, this should bring that up. When those come through, so I don't know when the next evaluation is, but I know right now where we're about zero as far as that goes, for the township. So that should help with insurance ratings and these things too. So over the years, that's another thing that's happened. Part of us getting here was our runs, that's getting out the doors, or getting to all these runs, nothing, not having somebody else called in and getting these done, which we met those goals, and everything is coming up. So with newer fire equipment, I believe it's been a long time since I've looked at that checklist, if you will, that they go through to get that up. But I believe all this should help that, yes. To what level, I can't speak, but I do believe it will.
I was just wondering if anybody, I'm not trying to sell or not to sell at this point, but I would think that that offset, you know, for the individuals, if they're paying $109 in tax to have a fire station, it's gonna decrease their insurance by a certain amount.
That's our hope and our game.
You know, maybe it won't be $100, but
Yeah.
be an argument.
I think any little bit would help.
As this goes forward, do you have a timeline for construction?
We do have some preliminary timelines. I don't have that with me. I don't know. Thanks, do you have I'm sorry, I didn't know we were gonna get this deep this evening. I believe July, I think, is when we'd start building, if I remember, and dirt was gonna be
This year?
turned. Yes, I believe so. And I don't remember how the breakdown went from, as far as assembly goes and moving forward from there.
Mr. Peters, is this gonna kind of mirror the fire's delivery method that Edinburgh used?
I'm not familiar with Edinburgh.
I think
What
they
method
used,
did they use?
I think it was a bill lease. And
This is a common structure that, you would go through the lease rental process in the building corporation. I don't know about what the construction, whether it's design, bid, build. I believe so.
I do have a question perhaps for the fire district president, please. I'm just curious, I'm a proactive, I have a proactive approach to finances and our fiduciary needs and the needs of servicing our county.
Sure.
And I'm just wondering, how did Nineveh Fire District get in such a dismal shape? It would seem to me that we should have been the board should have been planning for this, saving for this, getting ready for this, so that we don't hear these explanations of how terribly defunct the building and the coverage is. How did we get to this point, and what can we do in the future?
So I can only speak for the time that I've been there. When I first started the board, I've been there for, I believe, about 9 years, about there. There were no line item budgets. There was no, basically, a budget between us and the fire or the fire department themselves. So the equipment was terrible. If something broke, they kind of wrote a check and then went on down the road with it. So there's been a lot that's had to be corrected in those years. And as Jeff spoke to, last 5 years, we've moved forward there as of 2. We have a wonderful working relationship now. We've moved through line item budgets. Everything is the way it should be. I've been there for 2 audits now with the SBA. We've met those deficiencies, moved above them. They're happy with what we're doing. We're trying to be as proactive as we can with the fire department. So just not the building, but also the gear that they had, the tools that they had. Those were all things that we needed to get built back into the department prior to us getting here, so that we've got what we need with a new building, if you will, to run down the road.
So I guess my question would be, have the taxpayers in this fire district have the advantage of lower tax rates as a result of the fire district board not being proactive and getting in front of this type of situation?
Honestly, to be honest, I believe that they never asked for the increases that they should have been asking for.
Who should have been asking?
Probably the fire board district.
Okay, so I just
Yes.
want to make it clear to the public that this council has no part in those decisions. So now this is our mess to either approve or not approve. And my only reason in bringing this up is that there's more forethought and pre-planning in the future,
Sure.
so that it doesn't become a significant one-time expense to these taxpayers. It's just not fair.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with you 100%.
Thank you.
So if you're prepared for a motion, I will make a motion. Item D2, approval of resolution 2026-03.
Have a motion by Pam Burton,
Second.
second by John Dittmers. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item D3, approval of ordinance 2026-3. And again, if I'm understanding this right, we are now approving the appropriation of the bond proceeds to build the new fire station. Is that correct?
That is correct with a caveat. For the record, Max Adams with Barnes and Thornburg.
Thank you.
Counsel to the Nineveh Fire Protection District. First, it's an ordinance, so this is only first reading. We'll be back in April for the public hearing and eventual hopeful approval of the ordinance. So Jeff mentioned this is a lease rental revenue bonds structure, a building corporation model. Instead of appropriating the bond proceeds, which you would do with, a general obligation, the district or the county or whoever, directly receives those bond proceeds and then appropriates them. In this case, the building corporation is the actual issuer of the bonds, serving as sort of a conduit on behalf of the fire protection district. As part of this lease rental revenue bond structure, we need something to lease, which typically in this case is the project site itself. So the fire protection district will be deeding the project site to this building corporation. The building corporation will be leasing it back to the fire protection district, and the rent that the building corporation receives from the fire protection district, paid from property taxes, will go to pay debt service on the bonds. So that deeding process, on the day that we close on the bonds, obviously bond proceeds come in, and the building corporation will transfer an amount not less than the average of the two appraisals for the project site. So if you think about it, there's sort of the two buckets: the building corporation bond proceeds that they use to pay for the project site, because it is a land transfer between the two entities. Then there's bucket two, that the fire protection district has the land transfer proceeds. All of them will go towards the process, but because we're only dealing with the fire protection district's bucket, we're just appropriating those proceeds towards the project itself.
Who are the individuals in the first bucket that you talked about, the land corporation or the corporation, building corporation?
So the building,
those individuals.
The building corporation is made up of firefighters of the Nineveh Township Fire Department, appointed by members of the Board of Fire Trustees.
And will they be safeguarding this money and investing it on behalf of the building corporation?
Everything's going to run through the fire protection district, but yes, all the normal protocols and processes to safeguard those funds will be followed.
And do we know if there is a default on these bond payments? Is the county liable for any of that?
The county is not liable for it. The bonds just go on the normal tax levy like any other property tax backed bonds. No recourse through the county. It's, fire protection district is its own taxing entity.
Okay, that's all I have.
Good questions.
Through this before.
I am prepared to make a motion for item D3, approval of ordinance 2026-3, first reading.
I have a motion by Pam Burton, a second by Ron Bates. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
With that, we are almost done. I do have one thing I would like to bring up under old and new business. And it should go rather quickly. I'm not looking for an in-depth debate or discussion, just kind of testing the waters to see where we are all at on this position. The topic of longevity pay was studied by council a few years ago and was mentioned again during last year's compensation study. Longevity pay serves as an additional compensation to acknowledge the value of acquired knowledge and length of service. It acts as a retention tool and can reduce turnover. Essentially, longevity pay rewards past service. I'm bringing this up tonight in preparation for our 2027 budget hearings. And at this time, I would like to ask the council for their individual positions regarding longevity pay for Johnson County employees. I'm prepared to start, and I will say that I am in favor for longevity pay for these reasons. I believe that longevity pay preserves and rewards institutional knowledge. I believe it supplements long-term employee wages above new hire salaries. And I believe it helps reduce turnover rates. So that's my opinion. And I will start down on the left with Mr. Jonathan T. Myers. And just briefly, what is your status? Is it something you would like to pursue for a 2027 budget?
Well, my thoughts on it have changed. I was originally against it,
Okay,
but I believe it needs consideration. However, I believe the biggest point that would go against it is budget. And I think that some people have had longevity that have recently eliminated longevity pay because of their budget problems. I think that our employees deserve it, but as I understand it, it becomes, as we approve it, and I'm just going off of what I researched. If we approve it, the council has the ability to approve it. And what we do, I think the commissioners should be involved with it, because I believe they have to then manage it after that point.
so you're in favor of considering
Yes,
longevity pay?
yeah. I mean, I'm not throwing my line out with my rod and reel.
Thank you. That's just exactly what I'm looking for. How about you, Mr. Mallers?
I'm in favor of it, assuming it's something that's affordable to the county. With the uncertainty coming forward, that makes me think about it, but I'm certainly in favor of the idea of it.
Okay, Ms. Burton?
I presented or researched and spearheaded this project a couple of years ago, I think,
Mhm.
and it didn't go any further than me, but as a county employee myself for 30 plus years, I personally would be in favor of it. I believe that longevity pay is a small but meaningful way to honor dedication and to keep experienced people serving our community. Of course, budget is something that would have to be considered. Can we afford it? What's the best way to approach it? But absolutely, I would still be in favor of looking into this in the future.
Thank you. Mr. Ditmers?
Yeah, at this point, I'm not in favor of it, and the reason is, we don't discuss performance, because I think it's just statutory as far as how we have to handle government payroll. But performance is not in the equation anywhere, and to me, what we run the risk of, somebody has an outstanding performance, exceeds expectations in all facets. They get the same thing that somebody that has consistently needed improvement and it's not been addressed. I struggle with connecting those dots, so I'm not in favor of it, at least at this point.
So you're more in favor of a performance supplement rather than a longevity?
I would like to see, I'm not sure how you do it because I'm not well enough versed, but I'd like to see some level of performance evaluation considered in the compensation process.
Duly noted. Mr. Bates?
I guess I get to be last.
Yes, you do, and then we'll get to go home, so.
I'm kind of neutral at the moment,
Okay,
but what I would like to do, I would like to see some kind of a study done in terms of what fringe benefits they already have.
oh, what they already have,
Yes, I
benefits
mean,
that we already
you know,
have.
Perf, and I think we have a little over 600 employees. Okay, thank you.
So
And
I believe all of that information has been done with WIS. It'd just be a matter of gathering the data, but none of that I think will have changed enough to make a difference. So I do believe that's ready at anyone's fingertips, correct?
I can work to.
yeah, that would be great. That'd be great. I know that thankfully, I mean, I tell everybody now, I thought, this is what I tell them as far as being a member of the council this past year, that we were able to give our employees 5% raise. I think it was 5%, wasn't it?
Maybe your first year, maybe 2025.
This year it wasn't.
I mean,
Did we
2024.
give them
I'm
a
sorry.
raise for this year? Last
Yes, but it wasn't based on percentage.
Yes,
It's based on the job studies.
year? Okay, from WIS.
yeah.
calculations.
In 2024, I think it was
Okay. And I know
5%.
we also give them a stipend as well. That's
Some individuals receive stipends, most do not.
supposed to be in this month, correct? I think it's
Yes.
Oh,
$1,500, right?
yes, you're right.
So I mean, I think we're making progress
Oh, absolutely.
in rewarding our employees. But I'd like to just, like I say, see how much that is in comparison. And like I think everybody's already said that
Okay.
it's a budgetary issue that may come into
Mhm.
play as well.
Okay, well, my point in asking for this was, some research will need to be done. Some has already been done. And I didn't, as president, I didn't want to expend large amounts of time and energy if no one up here had any interest in pursuing longevity pay. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in favor, 1 not in favor, and 1 neutral.
Can I make
One
one
right
other
here.
comment?
Yes, please do, please do.
It seems to me too, as I kind of thought through this, on an individual basis, the materiality of longevity pay is, particularly after tax, is not overly material.
Minimal,
It's minimum.
yes.
And if you've got a high quality employee that's got the notion to look for another job, it's probably not going to be a decision point to stay, would be my guess, because it's not that material. Each individual, it may be important as an aggregate to the line item of the budget. I won't mean.
I think the problem I know that I incurred as treasurer for 8 years, and part of what our salary study and the work that this council did last year is we now have these minimum salaries for job classifications. So it is quite possible that we have a 20-year employee in a Comot 1 making the same dollar amount as a Comot 1 employee who has only been here 2 years. And that is the usefulness that I see in longevity pay, given the salary study and the minimum salaries that we adopted last year. But that's all I wanted to do, just kind of touch in. Please, everyone, send emails. Let's all stay connected. I know you all will have more thoughts moving forward. And I will try to put something, some kind of minimal information together to see if this gains any further traction as we move closer to budget time. And with that, I will entertain a motion to go home.
Motion vote.
Let's go. Say hi. All right, we're going home.